Tonya Hofmann's fabulous TV show.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you're back today. I am Tonya Hofmann, and this is my TV show, my fabulous TV show. And I'm super excited to have Mr. Danny R. Glover on today. Hey, Danny.
Hey, Tonya. Oh, you killed me, yeah. You're so excited. Good to see you again.
Exactly. That's what it's all about, is having fun and being excited about what you're doing. And that's why I wanted to bring Danny back. This is part 2 of the conversation with him. So make sure you go back and listen to the part 1. We talked a lot about relationships and what that really means, especially for your career and your business. So that was really exciting. So today's tip is a little bit about value, bringing value to others. So one of the things, I talk a little bit about the speaking world quite often, because that's my world. And I love that world because there is, oh my gosh, you can bring such incredible value to your audiences, to a lot of people in 1 hour, right? Or whatever it is that you're speaking. And that's really the value of speaking, is that instead of just one-on-one all the time, it's to a whole group of people. It could be 20 people, it could be 1,000. So when you're up on stage or just in front of the group, you have to realize that they are expecting value from you. If you've got to bring it to them, they don't care what you look like, what how you speak. Well, if you mess up, they want to know, what can you give to them? And that's what it really is about. Now, the value also needs to be a little bit on the entertainment factor, because if they're bored, they're not learning anything and the value isn't there. So I always call it edutainment. So you're educating and you're entertaining all at the same time. And you can do that. Anybody could do that. It's just about making people smile while you're bringing information. So can you imagine? I used to be not only an introvert, but when I first started speaking, I thought it was all about value and I had to push as much in there as possible. But what happened, I gave so much value, is that people's eyes would be rolling back in the back of their heads, right? Because they would be like frying because of too much information. So one of the things I want you to see is how you can bring value to people without talking over their heads. All right, and this is what I mean. If you look at a chessboard, all right, hopefully everyone has played chess before, or at least seen a chessboard and kind of got the idea. So when you're a speaker, your value proposition is not how to capture the king and checkmate, or capture the queen, or whatever. It's about, why should they even consider sitting down and playing the game with you? That is your presentation. If you can convey that, you will be amazed at the value that they will absorb from your presentation. Why should they sit down and play the game? And then that first move isn't how to capture the king, it's how to make that very first pawn move. So I also want you not to try to figure out, okay, I'm going to show you how to castle, I'm going to show you how to do this, I'm going to show you. No. It's how to do the very first pawn move. And you will make not only more impact on those people's lives, but a whole lot more money. And that's why I wanted to bring Danny in today, is he's got so much information I wanted to give you. Okay? So Danny, tell us a little bit about you and what you've got going on in your life.
Sure, Tonya. Thank you. Well, like Tonya, I'm a speaker, and but my speaking normally is not my lead-in. It develops out of my coaching relationships and also my training relationships. I do training in the areas of personal growth, leadership development. I am a master trainer with DISC, behavioral models, and affiliated with Dr. Robert Rome and Personality Insights in Atlanta, Georgia with that, and proud to be a member of the John Maxwell teaching team.
Awesome.
One of his certified speakers and trainers and coaches. I worked with John for 6 years when he had Enjoy Group as a senior consultant, traveling coast to coast, border to border, and loved it, learned so much from John. And I'm not a cult member of John's group, but because I know that John has, he puts his pants on one leg at a time, just like the rest of us do. But he's dedicated himself to teaching leadership and personal growth since the 1970s, and recognized around the world as the #1 leadership guru in the world. And I learned a ton from him. So anyway, that's a little bit about me, Tonya.
Yay! Well, that's what I wanted to bring to y'all, everybody, because Danny, he's got one of the most genuine personalities. I just adore him. And I know that, Danny, you've got great information. So last time we talked about relationship. So what are we talking about today?
Well, I want to recap just a little bit on the relationships and give just a few practical tips. Last time we dug into the DISC and relationships from the human behavior angle. And Tonya and I got so wrapped up in that that I never got to the last part of the acronym of REAL, R-E-A-L. And I'll give all those to you right now, and then we'll go back and jump into them. But relationships is first, and it's first not just in the order of things here. It is first in terms of reality. If you can't get along with people, they will not go along with you. And I find so many people that are so intelligent and so well trained that just seem to forget that. And you can never move beyond relationships. It's a foundation, and you have to drive on linked to that, but you always have to maintain those relationships. And then attitude, we all know the deal is not you're not going to be successful because of your aptitude if your attitude stinks. I mean, we just, and you know that. You've met people like that. Hey, you might be one of those people, but and you're just dying to figure out how to change that. I want to give you a few tips about that today. And then equipping. We're going to talk about equipping, relationships, equipping, then attitude. And then we're going to move into the area of leadership, just to touch on it fairly briefly, because everything rises and falls on leadership. And if you want to know how a leader's doing, look at the leader's people and see how they're doing. And that'll tell you exactly how the leader is doing, because they will reflect his or her leadership ability.
I love it. So when we talk about attitude, is one of my favorite subjects, because I see it all the time in networking groups, at conferences. I ask people, "Oh, what do you do?" I own the Public Speakers Association. I'm like, "Oh, yay!" And they're like, "I'm a realtor," and you're like, "Why? Why bother? I would never want to buy a house from you. That sounds boring."
Oh, Tonya, you're going to love some of these tips today, because they're right up your alley, girl. Let me jump in with relationships. I just want to, again, as Tonya said, my previous show, we really dug into this. So it would help you probably to go back and take a look at that. And then today, I just want to give you a few tips. There are people in our lives that do different things. Some people add to our lives. Some people multiply our lives. Some people divide our lives. They're the takers in the world, and they just want to. Some people reduce our lives. They want to pull us down, and you can never go up trying to push somebody else down. Period. And I have to remind leaders of that sometimes. But those are the kinds of people in your world. And how do you better relate to them to add value to them? First of all, care about them. If you don't care about other people, hey, you're in a hole. And you need to care about them. You need to value. You cannot add value to somebody who you do not value. And, because of my faith background, and because of my upbringing, and just because of the life experiences I've had, I believe every person that is walking this earth today has tremendous value. They may not believe it, but I do. And by the way, in relationships, the first and primary relationship you need to take care of is the one with you. The one with you. Because if you don't value,
own your fabulousness, right?
right. Yeah. Yeah, you do have to own your fabulousness. As my friend Les Brown says, there is greatness in you. And so, you know, you've got to be able, you have to feel good about you. As a matter of fact, the value you place on you, nobody else is going to raise.
I love that.
You know, you're going to set your value, and you're the only one that can. And so as you work with people and you care about them, you know, do some simple things. Put energy into relationship building. It does not come naturally. You've got to build relationships, and you do that by focusing on other people more than you focus on you.
Yes.
You
and
know,
you got to remember people, you know, and one of the things is deciding who you do want to have that value relationship with.
Right.
And then make sure you're all in.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I like to tell people that their three greatest abilities is their availability, their adaptability, and then their accountability. And as a matter of fact, I think you'll find that in a strange little book called Change Your World.
Which is lovely, by the way.
Yeah, change the world.
There it is. It's right behind him. We'll look at it.
That's it. Change the world by changing your world. And it's a big piece. And you know, Tonya said, remember people, and listen, call them by name. Get the names of people. Work on that. It is not a simple thing, and there's all kinds of tools out there to help you with that. But learn people's names. Learn about their families. Learn about their interest, and value their interest when you're around them. I mean, let them know that you really do know them and you care about them. And that'll take you a long way in building relationships. You know, nobody ever despises somebody for caring about them.
Exactly.
You know, this sounds so trite, doesn't it? But
yeah.
I'll tell you, so many people need to learn that. Ask others to help you. I know you think that might be imposing on them, but listen, it's one of the fastest ways for you to build a relationship is asking somebody else to help you, because what that does, it says to them that you think that they are better at something than you are.
Exactly.
Hey, you're appreciating them by asking them to help you.
And it's also goes along with the attitude, right? If you
absolutely.
have
Oh, yeah.
That you're a helper and not a taker, right. Then again.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, the rest of this acronym, the E, A, and L, all springboard out of the relationships. That's why it's first. Put their interest ahead of yours when you're dealing with them.
Nice.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Especially, Tonya, you know this, on the stage. Matter of fact, our friend Les Brown said, on the stage, when you're speaking, be sure to tell people what they need to hear, not what you want to say.
Exactly.
Hey, that's big. That is big. And you heard Tonya say she gets to events early. I know Tonya does. I've never been to an event with Tonya, but I know Tonya gets to events early so she can mingle. She can walk slowly through the crowd. She can build some friendships that are going to be in the audience when she's on the stage. You know, she doesn't show up 3 seconds before she's introduced. And she doesn't leave 3 seconds after she says thank you.
And you bring value to people when they feel like they actually, not only do you care about them, but you not only remember them, but you incorporate them into your talk. Oh my gosh, it has such incredible connection.
Oh yeah.
Factor.
Yeah, there's nothing like being able to look out there. You know, I was talking to Jim and Judy a while ago, and they said one of the biggest needs you guys have is bloom. You know? Now, I wouldn't do that without asking Jim and Judy beforehand, if that's okay. But they say, oh, yeah, everybody knows that. Well, and okay, we'll throw Jim and Judy out there, you know. First of all, it makes Jim and Judy feel good. And then it makes everybody else around them realize that, hey, this guy might really care about us.
And I know we're zooming through this time here, so let's get to it.
Okay. And then continue to add value to people by equipping them. Equipping them. You say, what do you mean, Danny? I mean, helping them learn to do what they're there to do and learn to do it well. And I'm not talking about telling so much as I am having conversations with them. You know, one of the best ways I ever did this was have somebody come along with me while I was doing something that they were getting ready to take responsibility for. And after we got through, I would ask them, you know, what did you see that you liked? Why do you think I did that? What was I trying to accomplish there? How did, you know, so asking questions, helping. Somebody said that a great leader is not the one who has the most knowledge, but the one who can evoke the most knowledge in the learner.
Absolutely.
And that's the power of questions. And, you know, get some resources, dig in, learn how to get better relationships, learn how to equip, and learn how to develop people. Sometimes I'll talk to people about the art of delegation, and I see the eyeballs roll into the backs of their heads because they've been there, done that, tried it. But they've never really tried delegation. They tried dumping.
Yeah.
You know, you take this task and get it done just like I would do it. You know, and that's not delegation. Delegation is modeling it, letting them, you do it, they watch, incorporating them into it. You do it, they help. You give them a little bit more freedom, they do it, you help. And then another step is they do it and you observe.
Yes, and also finding out what their specialty is. What are they really good at? Don't ask them to do something that they're horrible at. Get them to do and know your team well enough that you're delegating the right jobs for the right person.
Yeah. I do some coaching, Tonya, with people that have been let go at a company. Sometimes it's downsizing, but sometimes it's because they did not rise to the potential that somebody saw in them. And all too often, they were absolutely surprised when they got their dismissal notice.
Right.
And I got to tell you, friend, if you're in charge of people, if you're managing other people, they should never be surprised when you have to let them go.
Exactly.
You know, they ought to have seen it coming. And if you haven't brought them to the place where they see it coming, you haven't done your job equipping them. And it's a tough job. And it's easier to do it yourself sometimes, but it's not as profitable. One is too small a number for significance.
Right.
You are never going to accomplish your dreams without the help of others. And one of the best ways to get buy-in from other people is to equip them. And Tonya, then I'm going to come to your big word now, okay? The big A word, attitude.
Attitude. Give it.
Yeah,
Bring
it. The tude. Matter of fact, I've got a sports shirt. I work with the women's basketball team at UNC a lot, and Coach gives me a lot of T-shirts. And on the back of one of them is attitude is everything. And it is so true. Your attitude about people. As a matter of fact, a survey was done, and about why people get let go from jobs or what people are looking for in their evaluation of them. And out of five of the big indicators, attitude about the company, attitude about the work, attitude about themselves and others were 3 of the top 5. Attitude, not skills. Matter of fact, 15% of your success in anything has to do with your technical skills. 85% has to do with your relationship skills, those soft skills that very few people ever pay much attention to training in. And so that's a big one. But attitude, ambition, skills, attitude were those top 5. And let me just say this. Your attitude will determine your altitude.
Exactly.
You will never rise to stay above your attitude, Tonya, right?
Exactly. And you got to really look at, a lot of times, we have the rule in the Public Speakers Association that you have to be nice. Only nice people are allowed, and not perfect people. And one of the reasons that is, I talk to people all the time, and people are like, Tonya, you need to kick this person out. They have the worst attitude. They're always negative. And when I talk to them, 9 times out of 10, they're in complete denial. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm the nicest person. I'm so positive. I'm like, you're not showing up that way. So a lot of times you just don't know how you're actually showing up when you're talking to people.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there was a camera always pointed at us, so we could see our facial expressions, so we could hear our tone of voice. Attitude will show up. Even when you try to mask it, it will show up.
Oh, yeah.
And attitude is an inside disease, because it'll bring you down, it'll bring other people down. I mean, Tonya, have you ever been to the grocery store, pushing your buggy down the aisle, and you happen to catch a glimpse of somebody 2 or 3 aisles over?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're trying to hide behind your buggy, and you're trying to go the other direction because you don't want to you don't want to run into that person, because they're going to bring you down, and all of a sudden it's just all over the place. So attitude is so important. And if you have a good attitude, if you have a good, healthy attitude, and listen, when I talk about knowing yourself, loving yourself, and appreciating you, I'm not talking about egotism. Hey, that's really not a person who values themselves. It's a person who does not, and they're putting on a show. Exactly.
They usually have so much fear of not being worthy that they're overcompensating. Right. So you can always tell when somebody doesn't really value who they are.
Absolutely. So wrapping up here, relationships, key. Did I say key? Key.
Got it.
Work on those. Equipping properly. Attitude. And listen, every now and then I have to give myself an attitude adjustment. It's what I call doing a checkup from the neck up. Because your attitude is everything. And I'll tell you, sometimes I'm picking up the call to call somebody that I'm having trouble connecting with, and my attitude stinks. And I just have to, when I'm training telephone sales people, I train them to try to be on their feet when they're talking,
yes,
but also to be smiling when you're talking on the telephone.
Yes, I do the same thing when people are being on a virtual call. They're on the telephone. Yeah. You can hear if they're having a good time or not. If they're stressed out, you can hear that they're stressed out.
Yeah, and if they're not valuing you, I hate these robocalls, don't you? I try to talk back to the robocall, and I found out they're not there. And then the last letter in this acrostic: relationships, equipping, attitude, and then leadership. Everything does rise and fall on leadership. Leadership is really the measure of everything. Dwight D. Eisenhower said, leadership is the art of getting other people to do what you need done because they want to do it. Exactly. That's leadership. When I talk about leadership, I'm not talking about command and control. And I'm not talking about some top dog that's untouchable, isolated, that barks down orders. And listen, I was a drill sergeant in the Army for 6 of the 9 years I served. I saw some of that, and I vowed I didn't want to be that way. I wanted to care about the troops I had. I wanted them to know that I care about them, and still I wanted excellent results out of them. And I trained hard, but it was because I cared,
Exactly.
And there was a big picture as you went into Harmony Church section where I was at Fort Benning, Georgia. There was a big billboard as you came across into the training area, the basic training area, Tonya, and it was a big oversized drill sergeant standing in the midst of a battlefield graveyard, you know, with the rifle stuck in the bayonet stuck in the ground and their helmet on the rifle. And the caption above this big drill sergeant's head was, "Let no man's soul say to me, had I been properly trained." That image is just as visible in my mind today as it was back in 1968 when I first saw it. It's a long time.
Right.
And when I'm working with people, that's what I want them to go away with. When I'm leading people, that's what I want them to know. You know,
Yes.
that I want to do things for them, not for me. Now, am I going to benefit? Sure. But I want to care about them, and I want to lead them. Kouzes and Posner, in their great little book, The Leadership Challenge, says that leaders do five things rather. Leaders challenge the process. Leaders inspire a shared vision. Leaders enable others to act. I want to change that enable to empower others to act.
Yes.
And then encourage that leadership models the way, and great leaders encourage their people's hearts.
Nice.
You know?
That's what it's really about. And I know you're giving away something amazing today. What is that?
Well, first of all, you can have free of charge by going to my website and signing up a subscription to my blog. And when you subscribe to my blog, if you will send me a note and say, I saw you on Tonya's TV show. Now, those are the key words. Tonya's TV show. You tell me where you saw me, and I'm going to give you a complimentary half-hour coaching session. Your topic, your choice of topics, and I will be all present for your half hour. Okay?
And then how do they reach you?
They can reach me at by simply sending an email to Danny at gloverconsults.com. That's GLOVER consults, CONSULTS.com.
Perfect. So get a hold of Danny, and if you need more information about him, especially you want to book him for your next event and find out more about how you can have him come in and coach yourself, your clients, your employees, whoever, go to publicspeakerswithanassociation.com, and then go to speaker search, simply put in Danny right there in the little search bar, and it'll pop him up. And he has all of his information right there, and you can even email him right through there. So make sure you go and check Danny out. Thank you so much, Danny, for being on today. I really appreciate you coming on again and giving us part 2.
Well, thank you for letting me do that, Tonya. I would have felt real bad if I had to break off the letter L out of Lee, the letter R out of real. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love acrostics. I've got them for everything.
Nice. So make sure that you get in touch with Danny, come to the website, become part of our organization, because you need to go and do exactly what we're doing, which is have fun. And then you really can change lives, and you can make some great income at the same time. What a win-win. So check us out, publicspeakerswithanassociation.com, and I look forward to getting in touch with you. If you would like for me to also come in and speak at your next event, easy enough. Just go to the Public Speakers, and you can put in my name, Tonya, into the search bar, and there I am. So you can get a hold of both of us. Thank you so much. Thanks, Danny. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Tonya. Bye, guys.
Bye. See you all next time.